Hey, how's it going? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is ColdHell, and today I'll be showing you a review on the Ableton Strings that you can get from the website. It's $160, and there's a good reason why there should be a review out there, so you can have a good idea of what you're getting. Now, another very decent way to know what you're getting is listening to the demos on the website for the pack itself. What you hear as the demos is actually what you're going to get. This is just to give you a more detailed version of a more detailed review of what you're going to actually get. So you got 4 instruments. You got the cello, double bass, viola, and violin, and the strings, which is one channel that plays all 4 of them at the same time, if that's what you want. And now, why is there so many violins and so much of each? It's because each one of those is a different accent, right? And then you got, instead of having one violin, you got a bunch of them as a violin section. Let me just show you what I mean instead of just saying it. So legato. So okay, let's remove this. Extend those two so you could see what's going on. Okay, here it is. So this is violin solo. Oops, I played both of them. Fuck me. Once again, I played both of them. Fuck me. Now it's clear. Okay, so this is violin solo. And this is the section, which means it's a bunch of violins. So you got an idea of why is there solo in a section. So you want the feel of having a single violin or several violins. Now, what's staccato, pizzicato, or legato, which I don't know how to pronounce. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So this. Can I drag these? Nope. Okay, so you got this. And the legato is the same as the violin. Okay, there's something else I need to mention to you after. So the violin solo legato is a normal violin on its own. The pizzicato is the plucking, basically. Okay, and then you got the staccato, I think it's called. All right. Now, why is there a legato solo violin when there's another violin solo? What's the difference between having this and that? This violin solo actually performs all 3 accents with this knob. It's called the articulation knob right there. It's a very powerful thing because if you have Ableton Live Lite, you have maximum of 16 channels, correct? You can't have more than 16 instruments, which is pretty annoying if you need more at one point. So what this does actually, when you turn the knob up, it changes the accent. It doesn't fade between, it just completely changes it from one accent to another. So I'm just going to show you what I mean. So this is the violin solo. It's a legato, right? Now turn this knob up. And all of a sudden, you're at staccato. It's a different accent. And this is the pizzicato. I think, yeah, pizzicato. So this is the plucking one. So in one knob, you can automate later on. You can automate it to change accents, right? So actually, let me just play something random. Right. So I'm just going to place this here, and we have our automation right here. Tend to cancel this, right? So I'm going to have these, for example, just bring the articulation up, and then this one all the way up, and these. No, actually, these here. Just going to do something random. Okay. So I'm just going to play from the start. That's weird. This is supposed to do something else. Oh yeah, it is. It's normal. This is staccato. That's what it did. So yeah, you got the idea what it does basically. So instead of having 3, sorry, did I say 4 accents before? Never mind. So instead of having 3 channels, you know, to have every single accent, you can have the violin solo, and then have it automated to perform different accents in one channel. So you can save yourself 2 more slots instead of having 3, you know? So you have 1 slot with 3 accents instead of having 3 channels for every accent. And this is very practical. So they didn't leave the light version behind. And this actually saves you a load of work. Instead of copying and pasting every time and removing some notes, this actually is very practical. So I'm going to remove this. Okay, I'm going to show you the... do we have section? Yeah, we even have violin section on its own. So basically, you even have the accent for... So even for the section, you have a solo, not a solo, I mean the articulation, sorry, accents articulation. So you have this, which is very practical, and it saves you channels. Now let's hear the others though. So this is the, no, this is the violin as well, sorry. Viola. So the difference between violin and viola, you can Google it, it's very easy, but I'm just gonna explain. Violin, I think it's the smallest one, and it's the one that goes highest in pitch. Yeah, so this is the highest you can go on the violin, and the viola actually is pretty high in pitch, but it doesn't go as high as the violin. It's a little lower. I'm gonna take a section. I prefer sections for some reason. Yeah, so you see the difference. Now, something that is even lower is the cello. Cello is it's a bigger instrument somewhat. It's slightly bigger than the viola. This is the highest you can go. Now, there are other knobs. I will not leave you out of it, and there are very practical knobs. And there is so much stuff you can do, actually, with just one instrument. You can change the articulation, the release, the attack, and you got this motion thing, which is weird, the color of it, and plus, not to forget, this thing over here that allows you to do the gliding, and that is so interesting. I need to show you what the gliding does if you don't know what it does. So I'm just gonna mess around just for you to have even more information on how this works. So let's say, for example, actually, let me show you the strings ensemble. That's even more interesting. The tremolo is there's only one. You can't have a tremolo for a separate instrument. It's the whole bunch. It's the ensemble. So I'm just going to play this for you. So what an ensemble does basically is that this thing here plays all the instruments. It's one channel with all the instruments at once. The lower in the keys you go, it's gonna activate instruments that play lower notes, and the higher you go, it's gonna activate instruments that go higher in notes. So, for example, if you play a high note, it's gonna play the viola and violin at the same time, and probably the cello. Maybe not. If the cello does not have those notes, it's not gonna play. And the lower you go, it's gonna play the double bass and the cello. Or if you go very low, it's probably gonna only play the double bass. And it saves you 3 extra slots because you don't have to put all of them if you want this effect of like orchestral feel. And it's very beautiful. Now it's got this thing called the release volume. So once it reaches its attack, you can change this release volume so the release will be very loud or soft or just the same. Let me give you an example. So this is just playing a tremolo normal. So you see this ending, there's nothing to it special. I'm just gonna turn this up loudly so we can like get an idea. You see what I mean? I mean, it's interesting. You don't have to automate it. You have it right here. Maybe this is a detail some people need, and it's right there for you. And the nice thing about it is the attack is very nice. It's very interesting, actually. So basically, you have everything you need on... the nice thing about the Ableton Strings Pack that works on Ableton is that it's very fluid. Everything you want works very fast, and the CPU load is so low. It barely requires anything. You can have, if you have something Ableton Standard or the Suite Pack, you can have so many of them with a probably standard desktop or laptop, and you will not be compromising CPU usage. You're going to still have a decent amount of CPU, which is great. So what is the motion? I'm just going to turn this down and have an idea of the motion. So the motion is kind of an LFO of the sort, and you get to control its speed here. Although I'm not very sure what you can do with it. Probably experts who do this thing regularly know what they could do tricks with it. So I'm just going to put this to 50% so I could give you an idea what it is. So now you got an idea what the motion does. It's like an LFO, but it's a little weird. Now width, I have no clue what this does. I have no idea. I'm probably missing something, and I'm sorry because I cannot exploit. Actually, I could read it. No, this is just a macro number, a control. It doesn't say what it does. Yeah, it doesn't say on the left side what it does. Okay, so, and the release, of course, you know what it does. Right, so what I wanted to show you next is the glide right over here. So I'm just going to pick a legato violin, and I want to show you what this does. So you get to control the time of how long does it take for it to glide, right? So here you go. I'm going to just leave it low. Just put it back to standard by pressing space. So the problem with this glide is that it keeps the same sample, because I think every note you play, different notes you play, are different recordings that they've done. So the thing about this glide is that it plays the same sample and just turns it at a higher pitch by transposing it or something. You know what I mean? So it almost sounds like a synth all of a sudden. So if that's not what you want, what you could do is you stay to closer notes. So the farther you go, the more synth-like it's going to start to sound. And the closer you stay, it's going to sound like the same sound. It's going to sound like a normal string. Now, if you turn this up, it's going to take much more time. So this is like half a second. I'm going to give it 10 seconds. No, that's too long. I'm just going to turn this like 2.5 seconds. Now, there is a third option, which is the whatever. So what this does is it doesn't glide, it doesn't use the same sample. It's going to play another note gliding to it. So you're going to play both two notes, but the first note you play is it's not going to glide. The second note you play, it's going to glide from that second note, right? I'm just going to show you what I mean. I think you might have understood a little bit of what I meant. It basically plays two notes now. The second note you play, you can play as many notes as you want. So I'm going to play 3 notes. Okay, so I think you understood what I meant. So the first note you press, it's not going to glide or do anything, but if you press more notes simultaneously, then it's going to do the gliding effect and go from the first note to the other note you were playing, which is pretty darn nice, because the glide is a little weird in some cases, but there are some cases which the glide could be very nice. I'm not saying the glide is a bad thing, don't get me wrong, it's a great feature, and so is this one. Let's go and just see other things. Now, I really enjoy this instrument right there. I'm just going to delete all others right here and just show you this. So this one, it's the pizzicato, but it's the ensemble, the strings ensemble, and it sounds great because this is really good for. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you watch gaming videos of like CNNers or something? They have those music in the background which have these orchestral ensembles which sound great. So this is probably like one of the things I would definitely use to compose music like this. So it's like, see, it sounds wonderful, it's great, it's rich, and it's heavy, it's beautiful. Not as beautiful as you, of course. Subscribe, please, I like you. Right, so you have an idea what are you kind of getting. So I'm going to compose something randomly with only the strings, and you can get an idea of what it's like. So I may cut, or I don't know. Okay, so I am back after composing a small piece for you to see what you can do, and I'll explain to you what there was one more important thing I forgot to explain to you. It is this ensemble, the pizzicato. There is one more feature I need to explain, and it's super important. If you spam V, basically on your keyboard, your shortcut C and V is for velocity, Z and X is for pitch and note, going up or down the keyboard. So if you maximize V, which is like 120 velocity, which is the max, on the not the double bass, the strings ensemble pizzicato, which is the plucking, you get okay, I'm gonna play the normal one. You get this effect. Right, this is the normal one, but if you go max on the velocity, which I'm spamming V, I think it's just twice more, you get this. Jesus fucking Christ, sorry. Let me just lower this. So yeah, you get this thing. So I think this is the slamming with the what is the thing you call the bow? Yeah, I think they just smash the bow on the string, and you get this kind of note. It's like it's sexy. Okay, sorry. Okay, so yeah, that was the one more feature I need to explain. But here, I'm just gonna play for you this piece real quick, so you can get an idea what other things can you do with this. You can mix this, of course. Mix this with other instruments. I mean, not other instruments. I mean, like other VSTs that not other VSTs. This isn't a VST. You can use this, for example, with percussion, orchestral percussion, stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But anyway, let me just play this for you. Okay, so this is with only 6 channels, not to mention the fact that I could have probably saved some space with, let's see, could I have been able to save space? Yes, I could have, because I've been using 2 ensembles right there. No, they're for different things. Maybe if I added more instruments, I could have saved space for other things, because I use generally, they all had different purposes, each one of them for different notes. But overall, 6 instruments. I'm satisfied with what I got. It is worth $160. And this is what you heard. Now, let me know what you guys think. If there's something I missed out on, or if something you have any questions, leave a question in the comments below, and let me know what you think. Is it a decent review or blah 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 blah?